Welcome back to Trucks and Junk. Today on part 9 of the Junkyard Golf Cart build, we're going to be working on the wiring harness, the exhaust, the throttle cable, and we're also going to do some modifications to the shifter, and I'll show you why in a second. And then possibly take this thing for another ride. Hopefully we don't run out of time this time, but we'll see what happens. All right. Okay guys, so the throttle cable that I ordered still has not came in. So what I've done is I went out here to the shed and I pulled a throttle cable off one of my old four-wheelers just to get this done, because I'm not going to keep waiting on something that hasn't arrived. I mean, it's getting ridiculous. It's been 3 weeks, so I'm going to go ahead and get this one installed, and then I'm going to show you what I was talking about with that shifter. All right, let's get this throttle cable in here. So now that we're using this four-wheeler style throttle cable, it's got a screw-in adjustment, which actually works out better. So I'm just going to go ahead and order a four-wheeler cable for this thing. Or a new four-wheeler cable for my four-wheeler. I don't know yet. Might just leave this one on here. We'll see. But now we can actually screw this in, which is even better. So, hey, Oscar, come hold this.
All right.
Hello. There you go. Don't know what I'd do without you, son. Alright, you can probably let go now. Alright, so now that'll stay. We just do what we normally did. Just clamp that to that. Might even just drill a hole in this and make it work that way. We'll see.
Did we originally have the cable like up here?
Yeah, it goes up there, son. Alright, so now how you hook this end of the throttle cable up is you put your spring on first into your cap, and then as you can tell, there's a little slit in the side of that right there. So you'll bring your throttle cable inside that slit, and now it holds. And then you'll bring your cable up to your spring, just like that. And now it's connected. And then you'll screw this into the top of the card. But now this notch on this side goes to your adjustment screw. So you'll want to line that up with the adjustment screw. And then make sure that needle goes down in there. And then screw on your cap. Just like so. And then pull your cable tight. Now most of the time these stay with the cap, but since mine got messed up from having a short cable, mine don't stay with the cap until I get a new carburetor. But that's just my luck, you know. But as you can tell now, it's a lot longer cable. It's not being pulled on. So that's how you hook up that into the carb. Alright, so the reason why I got to modify this shifter is, see how this is straight up and down? Whereas before, when we had this thing, the way we had it before, it was kind of at an angle, so it wasn't an issue at that time. But where I've got this straight up and down now, if I go to get in here, with the way they got these designed with the steering wheel sitting out and everything, if I go to slide in here, well, now I'm hitting that shifter. You see what I'm saying? So the reason they got this curved like they did was so you would slide over that, see? But since I put that in the way, now it's in the way. So what I'm going to do is I went ahead and drilled another hole in the center of this, where now it'll be angled like it was before. Now let me find another bolt, since that one went flying on us. But now with it shorter like this, it'll still work the way we want it to. It'll just be more angled to where I can now get in here, get in and out of here without it being in the way. Now, that being said, I don't want this to be a sharp edge. So You guys are gonna like this, okay? Because the whole thing about this was making it look like it was the original golf cart, right? So this here is the shift knob that used to be here to make it go forward and backwards for the electric motor. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna cut this off the length where when I sit down here where it feels comfortable. I'm gonna cut it off and I'm gonna slit this and then I'm gonna weld this in place to where the actual shift knob is still the original shift knob. And that's what we're gonna do next. We're gonna go ahead and cut this up and make that work. Basically, I'm gonna grind that out of the center of this to where this will slide inside of this and then I can weld it all together. That's what I'm hoping on. And then that would just be one piece with a knob at the end of it. See, now once I cut this piece out, this will be embedded in there. And then I can weld this in place, which will re-strengthen the metal because it replaces the metal that was in the center. There we go. It's gone. Bye-bye. See? Now I can weld that in place after I grind it up and get it ready for welds. And now that shift handle is now a part of that bar. What do you think? Think that'll weld or stay together? It's a glowing. All right. We'll adjourn in just a minute. All right, now that I got it all ground down, be able to screw this handle back on. And we now originally have the original shift knob. Pretty cool, guys. It's still a little hot for the handle to stay on there, so let's keep that off for now. Oh, okay. No. Neutral. Neutral. First. Neutral. Alright, so I think that's going to work. Now we're going to put a seat on here and see how comfortable that feels. Not a real seat, though. Just a, yeah, one that may break by me sitting on it. Alright.
Bad boy.
Come around to this side, Oscar, so they can see. Make sure I don't. Ah. Ah. Alright, so yeah, that's perfect right there. You know, there's no right in the right spot. So
Here, hold it. I'm gonna try. Here, hold it. I'm gonna try.
let's see if it's comfortable for this man.
Is that it?
I'm saying how you push down like 6 times, I doubt it. Is it comfortable? That's the question. Is it comfortable? That's the question.
Yes.
Alright. Let's get the brakes on this thing, get the exhaust on this thing. Let's do it. Alright guys, I know I said I was going to make spacers for this thing, but I still haven't done it. I'll do it eventually. So for testing purposes, we're still going to use the nuts for the spacers. But let's get this thing in here. Thankfully, my brake line's still long enough. That would have been bad, wouldn't it? Yep. Alright, so that's in there. Alright, we'll let that rest, and then we'll get these bolts and all these little nuts in here. Oh. Well, one down. Alright. 2 down. 3 down. 4 down. Alright, so that was a fight. Now we're just going to tighten these up. Get these things ready. Right. And after this, we'll do the exhaust. Get this gas tank mounted. Should be ready to run again. Yeehaw. All right, now we'll get the exhaust on here and get it going. All right, now we're gonna hook up this exhaust. Okay guys, a nice little trick to these. Once you got everything done and finalized, you're not going to be taking this thing apart back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, like we are right now doing all these little modifications. These will back out over time with vibrations. So you can use Loctite, but most of the time when I use Loctite, they still back out. So my little trick to those, when I get this all finaled and ready to be stained together for the rest of its life until it breaks, I just put a little spot weld on the bolt to the flange. That way they can't back out. They will stay tight and you don't mess up your gaskets. You don't have your exhaust falling down all the time. But for right now, I've still got them backing out on me because we're still going to take this thing apart when we paint everything. So right now, just tighten them up. So. Okay, now that we got everything wired up, hooked up, shifter back connected, brakes back on it, exhaust back on it, now we're going to fire this thing up and see if it can run. Let's do it. Alright. This gas back up though, guys. Don't forget that. Alright, so it runs. It's strong again. Let's see if it shifts through the gears. So now backwards is going to be backwards and forwards is going to be forwards like it's supposed to be now. So let's see if it's got reverse. Alright. Neutral. First. Second. And third. Second. Third. Neutral. Reverse. Alright. Heck yeah. Back together. Ready?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
Positive?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright guys, unfortunately we ran out of time again today. It's dark outside, so we're not going to be able to take this thing for a ride this week. But that's probably for the best because now we actually got time to build a decent seat that's not going to break on us, and we can invite somebody else again to come ride with us just so we can make sure that we fix the whole lifting up the front of this thing when we turn. So, I mean, honestly, we could probably put like 2 people on the back and maybe do wheelies with this thing. I don't know, or at least the way it was before. But as of right now, I apologize that we can't ride it today, but like I said, it's for the best. Thank you guys for watching. God bless you all, and I will see you guys next week. Later.
Oh.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when I'm running. I always take what I want and I always give it 100. Don't need a bank, no I'm funded.